All right, so sorry, I'm doing an impromptu, like, thoughts, rambling discussion video. I don't know how long it'll be on the Marvel Rivals matchmaking video because, or why did they make it rather? Because of EOMM and what the community believes it is. Does it truly exist? Which is engagement-based matchmaking, and oh man, I can't believe it's like gotten enough legs to like warrant a 20-minute in-depth response from the devs, but I wanted to talk about it, give some thoughts on what they said and like the outlook for season 4 and the next one, cuz I'm not full doomer like it's so over they can't come back, but I am in the mindset of you've made a lot of interesting decisions that you kind of have to act on, or not act on, but like own up to. Oh my, there's construction right now. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. All right, sorry about that, but to kind of go back to what I was talking about is the the skinny of it was they went into an in-depth explanation and mathematical explanation as to how you gain points for each ranked match, how teams are split up once like a lobby's found and then divvied up into teams depending on, obviously ranks, where they where they are within that rank, and if there's any stacks or not, which like muddy up the whole process. But well, not muddy up. That feels like this is disingenuous to say when they have a system for it. It's just it complicates things rather. But another huge part of like this was they basically called out, rightfully so, they called out both DPS players and just the like player or a large chunk of the player base as a whole, saying, "Hey man, you just play better and like you won't have these problems." Because they like they brought up the human element of it all, which is fair and valid. And I think the problem is because the player base was so dug in on like it's EOMM, and EOMM is the problem, and like they decided that they were gonna like tackle that, while not like I don't think knowing that EOM isn't the problem. It's very clearly like, and I say this from the rationale of like there's very clearly a problem with the matchmaking system, because you got all these players thinking like this is the problem when it's not. They recognize there is a problem, and but they don't know, like they don't know what the problem is. They just like they just see it, they just like they feel it, but they don't know what they're feeling. I really do hope that makes sense. I don't know how to like describe it, because I don't know, I've never like considered myself to be like particularly like outstanding or really good. I peaked GM in season 1 and 1.5, and then solo queued into a diamond last season. But um another, or like one of the other interesting things I was talking about in the intro was without much subtlety, they called a vast majority or portion or all of the player base bad, which I don't disagree with for the most part. I have, in that last video I made, I talked about how like a lot of people have Vegeta-sized egos with no skill or capabilities even remotely matching said ego, and it's just, but isn't this supposed to be a casual game? Why is, like, calling this out feels kind of crazy. This is, this is what happens when, and don't get me wrong, do not cater to pros. That's like the stupidest thing you could do. Like catering to like Diamond and GMs and me and like whatnot. I feel like, or even Celestial, no, or even Celestial or whatever. I feel like that's like the range with some like gold balancing in there. But this is what happens when you decide to go down this path. This is one of the abysses, if you will, that they got to look into and like navigate. I mean, because clearly, like, what they're doing isn't necessarily hitting for those casuals. They're they were catering towards because hey, you got all your system got them all saying there's EOMM agents. So, and because like I have a couple points I want to reiterate, which was the and because they also acknowledge it with like when they talked about roadkill, but starting with what my thought is the like casual appeal of this game is that you're always adding someone's favorite superhero or someone who clicks with a character in Marvel, and that they get to do a silly little, whether how good or how bad it is, as long as it's fun, right? A like combo ability or like combo team up, you know, with another character in the roster or in specifically like on your team. And the reason I think they addressed this is they brought up role queue. They talked about how like role queue's not really an option for them because they also, or well, to an extent, they believe in everyone should play like their favorite hero, whether it's like their favorite hero because of rivals. Like for me, I'm Magic and Mantis pilled now because in season 0, I didn't like most of my favorite characters weren't in the game at that point, or I didn't like playing them, and that's cool. That's like how you draw them in, but also brings up another elephant in the room in the video they made, which was they they really up with the split between DPS, strategist, and vanguards in this game. Because, if I'm not mistaken, the way it works is you're like your performance points or whatever you get added is measured against like the character, like the average performance of like whatever character you picked, on top of how often they are picked or not. So, um, when you only have less than 10 tanks and less than 10 duelists or less than 10 supports in the game, you already get shit on for just picking the role. And the I want to talk about this more when I bring up season 4 because I do want to talk about it a little bit. But the leaked list, that first like batch of leaks that came out like pre-launch and then during season 0, there weren't many tanks and supports on the list. So it's I'll talk more about what my thoughts on that then. And then the other thing I didn't bring up, what I also really want to hammer home is do not, do not. I like, I do kind of think, hey, maybe we're gonna raise like the base skill floor a little for this game. But that does not mean we cater to pros and like top 500 players. It's their job. That's what they do for a living, is getting paid to be good at this game. So labbing character tech and finding like weird team comps, that's all you, big dog. You work within the confines of the game. Let the metal ranks and whatnot like get a decent chunk of the like attention in terms of like balancing and whatnot from the devs. I think that's all I have to say about the video, though. I if I am gonna like move on to season 4, like talk or whatever thoughts, um, you one surely would imagine and assume they have some form of matchmaking change already in the works or already good to be implemented or deployed in the next season because they didn't really talk about changing stuff in the next season or in the upcoming future, which crazy play, one I wouldn't do, but amen. They're game devs and I'm not, so what do I know? Okay, and then like one last general statement is, or like thing I do want to talk about is, if you're bad at the game and you recognize you're bad at the game, amen. I bear no ill will, no hate, no. I don't think you bear any sins, alright? I it's because like the way I look at it is, I'm like 15, 1600 rank in Street Fighter, and I don't think I'm crazy good. I don't think I'm like super good, but I do think like, hey, I can hold my own. I can do some things, and that's how I view myself. So, if, so like, and that's how I feel about myself in Marvel Rivals, where I can do some things. I've got my own tricks, but so they're like someone who's brand new, or like in general, or like this is their new, or like this is their first hero shooter, and they're not picking it up super fast, and but they're trying. It's like, hey man, on that Fuegoleon, it ain't no shame in being weak, staying weak's where it's a problem. It's like, as long as you're progressing, no matter how small it is, nothing but love, nothing but love. All right. I just really, I want to make that clear. Like, why would I beat someone down when they know, I mean, they know what they're like, they know where they are, and like what, like what they're working towards, what they're striving for. I've got nothing. I have no problems with that. It does not make sense to be mad at someone like that. But moving on, um, the reason I keep bringing up season four is not that I'm a doomer and that season four is the end game for this game, and what they decide then and there decides the game's fate. Because they've got like they've got like some time to mess around with if they don't really, if they need a slow burn to lock in or like implement impactful changes. But the reason I bring it up is because of the whole, if the ranked system is for support and tank players, um the idea to do double duelist seasons back to back, on top of, let me like let me talk about who is like leaked and confirmed to be in the game, assuredly, which is Daredevil, Angela, Professor X, Deadpool, Rogue, Cyclops, Captain Marvel, White Fox, Gambit, Armor, Hive, Forge, Amaranth, Amaranth, Jubilee, and Nightcrawler. And I think White Fox, Rogue, and Forge are the only non-DPS characters, with Armor and Hive being the only tank characters. And it's like, why the fuck are there so many DPS characters? Who are in like, and like, why are they the most far along? Why, like, who okayed that? Why did you think that was an okay thing to do? Like, are you serious, man? Why are there not as why are there two tanks and three supports like being cooked up and only them? Ooh, and so like, and the reason I bring this up is I I don't think there's any avoiding it. If it is confirmed that it's Daredevil and Angela for season 4, off the bat it's bad optics, because you can't really, especially with like the video in my mind, because I already thought it was kind of bad. Like, support like sucks to play because like half the characters, in my opinion, like is like aren't viable, and not in like a pro sense, but in the sense that like you, if like you just naturally run into a Luna Loki comp, you're when you got Rocket and whoever else. But and like same with tanks, how do you expect like how do you expect like the tank player number to rise when you don't add tanks? And also like all the A-listers, all the cool characters, you want to throw them in DPS. Anyways, getting like, yeah, yeah, yeah. The other thing is, I don't, or like, it's so easy for them to like buy themselves a grace period because in my mind, or like I was talking to a friend about this. All you really gotta do is you add like another band slot. Like you be like, hey, a quick fix for ranked system for now is we're gonna do like some sort of average based off whatever, and that's like your default rank that puts you into for your first like placement match. Just add placement matches, add another ban, and truth be told, like I don't really think, and I think you're kind of golden. Besides the like character roles things, like I don't know how you're gonna fix that, but hey, you just gotta find a way. Okay, and then my last like topic, because this is also like maybe a week old, so it's not super recent, but the whole they got the okay to like put and use OCs in the game's roster. I don't want to sound mean, but what a holy dog shit like thing they could do because the game is Marvel Rivals where you play your favorite Marvel superhero. And I think the whole point is that whether it's Spider-Man or goddamn like Marrow or like Polaris potentially and hopefully you are playing them. Like we can talk about how popular Luna is and how everyone loves Luna and like to me that could have just been Dazzler. Like there's no reason why it's Luna. I don't want to hate on Luna. I don't I don't mind Luna, but it's like, dude, get real. Like I swear to God, if I see that girl with like the red sword and red shield and the red and blue outfit before like She-Hulk in the game or something, I'd lose it. Just point blank period. I it's like because people also bring up the whole like, oh well, without OCs we would have never gotten X-23 or Laura Wolverine, whatever you want to call her. I don't care. I'm fine with all of them. Or like Harley Quinn, and it's like, mm, but like the whole point is that it's the Marvel character game where you put Marvel characters in for like the big ones and like the ones people like who never get like a spot to shine. The only time like I think inserting a OC into a game like this and it like went super well is Android 21. I love Android 21, but she's the only game example I could think of where like it turned out well. Okay, but that's all I gotta say, and um I'm gonna do something a little different this go around, which is please, 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 if you have any thoughts to expand or go off of mine or disagreements you wanna like correct me, please do those ones gently, but do leave a comment and like talk about some, I promise I'm like I'm a chilled out guy, a laid back dude. And so yeah, that's all I got. The usual thank you, thank you, thank you. If you stayed here for a minute, 5 minutes, you clicked on the video, you're listening to this. I'm very appreciative. Time is always a valuable thing, and you and me making something that even vaguely got your interest is always really flattering and super nice. I will always appreciate it. I don't know when my next video is gonna be. Um, the original game, I didn't do the Evo thing, which, yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. They'll probably do like another matchmaking video for Rivals, so I don't think it'll be as long as this one, so I'll probably do it for that. Or maybe if like there's a Street Fighter update or uh, maybe something comes. I don't know. I could do like a Pokemon video maybe. But yeah, that's all I got. Thank you so much. Bye.